Forecheck, back check, gut check, and of course, rain check. Welcome to One Take Wine. What are we even doing here? Getting our fine wine on, that's what we're doing. So what are we waiting for? Pitter patter, chitter chatter, let's get at her. What do we got in the glass? Okay. This is a weird wine. It's very quince, that particular fruity quince flavor that they get from Sauvignon. A little bit of that cat pee even, I would say. And that's would make sense because this is what this is. Les Champs Libres, 2016 from Guinaudeau, Vignerons Guinaudeau. These are the winemakers from Chateau Lafleur. And that's why I bought this bottle, because I figured if they make such a fantastic red wine, perhaps turning their attention to a white wine makes a lot of sense. The vines are young. This was only planted in 2012, and that set up some alarm bells because these are not cheap either, coming from Chateau Trotanoy. You kind of hope, especially in the young years, that they're gonna get some kind of deal. You're not getting a deal with this. And I must say, offhand, right off the bat, right off the nose, I would have a hard time calling it a white Bordeaux, a dry white Bordeaux wine. Even on the low end of the dry white Bordeaux from the houses that normally do the dry Sauternes, they have a lot of spicy element and a little bit of exotica to them. Nothing like that here. Much more straightforward Sauvignon Blanc severeness. Yeah, it is. It is distinctly. I mean, what does separate it is a very impressive length. For young wines, that's quite catchy, but a depth and a length that goes beyond your typical Sauvignon Blanc, a Sancerre or something. It's much more, it has more depth to it than that. I don't know how much Sauvignon is in this. I think there might be a touch. You can't taste it yet. 2016, so when are we talking 8 years? It should be something. I don't think it's a sleep or anything. I like the length a lot, and I like the saturation of it a lot. There's a nice mineral coating finish. Leaves a kind of a hollow point. There's the flavors sort of linger on the top of the palate, and this kind of mineral breeze over the tongue. A little bit of tannin, dryness, extract coating the tongue. For a lovely finish, I must say. It's not cloying. You can drink it a lot. I don't know what I would drink it with. This is kind of what I'm getting at. Is it a seafood wine? Possibly. Do I like it enough to bang more? No. Not yet. I think it's a little too Sauvignon for me. I think I like a little more Semillon to my dry whites, or a little bit more Exotica, a little less of the Cat P. I don't know what to really say about it. I mean, if you just take it at surface value, it seems not simple, but it doesn't feel very Bordeaux, first of all, white Bordeaux. But when you let the length linger and you take some time with that and sort of let the flavors mesh together a little bit, you realize this is, again, another one of those wines that's bigger than the sum of its parts. It's got a lot going on. The back end is much more interesting than the front end. I'll put it that way. Matter of fact, I'd say that's the strong point of the wine. This could be something. Let's move on, shall we? What do we got in that glass? Now look at the color there. Very, like a ruby brown. And what a perfume coming from, what a nose coming out of this wine, huh? It's just kind of wafting up, and you could be accused of looking at the color and even getting on the nose, which is, just makes your mouth water. Delicious. A bit cheesy, but also this kind of plummy top note to it. And a coolness, a real mint coolness to it. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say, you can be accused of thinking it's a little bit tired, or it looks a little bit tired. Yeah, this is lovely. A bit of red currant, a lot of black plum, and coolness. A typical tannic finish in the sense that it's typical for this wine, for this particular house. And then there's kind of like this There's some beautiful complexity that's probably what makes this wine or saves this wine in some way. It's got a bit of cigar box to it, but also some earthy notes and some mushroomy type of things. Yeah, definitely musky. That lovely, refreshing, cooling menthol really, really, really helps. Always the tannin with these guys. I don't know what it is. Chateau Trotanoy really likes their tannin. I don't know if it's the soil. I don't know if it's the style of winemaking, especially in the older vintages. I haven't had anything since 2015 or so, I would say. I don't know anything about the recent vintages, but I have had some of the older vintages. And they're always tannic on the finish. They're always tannin long. Not necessarily a bad thing all the time, but it's noticeable. You know what I mean? It sits there. It keeps it from, I think, achieving true greatness. This is getting to the point where I say it's a 1994. First of all, 1994 is a bit of a soft year, right? For Bordeaux in general. And maybe 10, 15 years ago, these were super fresh and jumping around. 94s, I mean, in general, not necessarily the Trotanoy, but the 94s I know. Drank a lot of them back then. They were really great. They were in a really great place. Now they're getting a little long in the tooth. It is 30 years. 30 years for a soft vintage, still performing. Kind of nice, I have to say. The cork wasn't in the greatest of shapes. I don't think it was stored properly. Maybe that can have something to do with it. That might have marginally affected the wine. This is really something. It's got this mushroomy thing, but a light one, you know, like a really kind of energetic mushroom. Mushrooms don't tend to be energetic. And then that little bit of cigar box kind of complexity, that shimmeriness, I think is a lovely feature. And the fruit is still sweet and plummy. It's just not very deep. It's kind of skimming the surface, and then the tannin tends to it seems to be creeping up at the finish. Be interesting to see what this is like in a day from now. I suspect the tannin might be a little bit high, and the freshness might be down a little. Shall we move on? What do we got in the glass? Different color entirely. And it's so young. I mean, it's so young. I'd say roasted, no, yeah, there is. It's roasted coffee, but cherry and strawberry mix. Pipe tobacco. I said roasted coffee, right? Yeah, licorice. Spice. There's a lot of spice to this. A lot of the spice, I guess, that I would include as the pipe tobacco type thing. Ooh. Oh boy, that's young. Hey. Purposely popped that one because I was just interested out of curiosities, you know. I mean, 2020 Tignanello. First of all, you shouldn't be drinking Tignanellos normally this young. You kind of want to wait at least 10 years. I think 10 years is a good amount of time for them, or they used to be. And when they come out in half bottles, I'll try them. I normally don't purchase them on full bottle, even if I do think that they're pretty good value. Pretty good value. This is actually a really well-made wine. I think it outperforms its price in some ways because it isn't particularly tannic when you compare it to the last wine, which is a surprise for a wine from Italy. That's number one. Number two, it's got a lot of body. It's got a lot of energy. It's once it soaks up and comes all together and softens and kind of tempers down a bit, it's going to be lovely. There's some floral aspects to it too, the violets maybe. This I'm kind of excited for it, to be honest. I really like it. I think it lacks a little bit of, if I was going to argue for anything, maybe just a little bit more of a clean elegance to it, a little bit more zip. It has energy from its youthfulness rather than from any sort of driving acidity or any sort of structural polishing, for lack of a better way to describe it. I think there's a better wine waiting to unfurl out of this, but I think there has probably been better versions of this particular wine in previous vintages. I think the price is right, though. I really do. I think that you get a lot for you compared to, for instance, a lot of California Cabernets in its price range. You're much better off buying this wine, without a doubt. This I firmly believe. Okay, that's about all I had for this time. 3 decent wines. What do I think of them? Les Champs Libres need some work. I'm gonna have to revisit that one. It's a 70+ euro bottle of wine. I think it's too much. So maybe we'll pass on that going forward. The 94 Chateau Trotanoy. If you've got bottles of this that you've procured from the beginning and kept them properly, they're probably in a little bit better shape than this was. Trotanoy is always going to have the tannin thing, and if you can live with that, there's a beautiful wine in there. It's like the pimple on its face. I don't know why. And then the Tignanello, I don't think it's the very best vintage, but it depends what you like. And I think you can already pop it and enjoy it, at least for a try. After 5 years or so, I think it'll be great. All right, that's it for this time. See you again. Thanks for watching. And hey, stay thirsty.